I don't think this is a coincidence that on New Year's Eve, Trump came out to the Hi Ho Silver song and Melania was wearing a silver dress. Check it out. Sign of the times. He knows what's up. So here's my silver video. All right, I guess it's time to make a silver video again. The last time I made one, it was on a 9, which was right here. And I said it was going to drop, and it did. And I said it was going to take off, and it's exactly what happened. But I thought this was interesting. If you go back to 1979, it hit a 9 right here. And since then, it fell all the way down because they manipulated the crap out of it all these years. And all these banks have been sued for tons and tons of money, more money you can possibly imagine for doing it. But since then, in 2002, silver started rising again, hit 50 again, came back down. And then down here is the money printing. This is how much money we've printed since the 70s. It went from 327 billion, actually 150 billion that we owed down here. And now we owe, only goes up, it's actually 38 trillion, but right now it's interesting because you can see the only time in history since then that there was a flat period where we stopped printing. This was right here, 2020. It shot up, but right now, 3 quarters in a row, look at this. It's never been flat until now. Boom, boom, boom. And that is right when Trump got in. And basically, now if you look at, this is the long-term chart of silver. So what I'm warning people about is it's definitely going up higher, but currently right now, silver is on a 9, as you can see, which if you look through the chart real quick, 9, and then I think it's going to drop down to somewhere in here because this is the last video I made right here. It hit a 9. I said it's going to drop for a few weeks, and it did. I'll make this bigger so you can see it. Basically, boom, it hits a 9, and it drops back. It had the same thing here, 9, drops back, 9, drops back. This one's not so bad, but this 9, it dropped back. But if you look back in history, there's always a 9 at the top of every drop, and it's just momentum indicator. Right here is actually, this is from, it doesn't have a 9 at the top of that one, but all the way back here, giant 9. So I'm just warning people, if you're out running around trying to buy silver, it probably is going to fall after this week. I think this week, honestly, right now, it's at 91. It's going to get to 100. It's going to someplace up in here at the end of the week. And then I think for, somewhere in the next 3 weeks, maybe it'll go boom, boom, boom. This is January, February. So it'll probably take a little bit of a hiatus, come back down into somewhere in the high 80s probably. And then from there, it's going to take off again. And it's going up to probably 130, 140 before it probably comes back and does another jig. But they printed too much money. And this is just proving to me all these years I've been telling everybody buy gold and silver. And now it's playing out. If you look at the gold chart, long term, if I quickly do this, this is the long term gold. This only goes back to 97, but which you can see down bottom where it hits the same dates. So gold really isn't crazy being as high as it is. It's going to 10,000. This year, 2026, you're going to see gold hit 10,000. Right now it's at 4,600, and that is my prediction. But, that's just me. Bitcoin, another story with that. I'm going to get rid of this down here because I don't need it. So Bitcoin, right now, it did exactly what I said it was going to do. It came down to, let me get this thing bigger. Basically, what it did right here was when I put out a video and I said it's probably coming down to 94. It did. And if it goes under 94, I thought it might come into the 70s, but I knew it was going to go down into the 84 range. And once it did, it just stayed in that pattern. And right now, it's starting to break out, but it's still really not above the line I put in was just me kind of going across all of these and trying to touch everything and where it made the most sense. And you can see kind of why I chose that line, because right here where it flipped. But you could always raise this and say that we're not out of the woods yet, because it still crosses a lot of places in here that were very distinct, like these dojis, they call those. And then once it went below that, it got out of it and it came back up, and this pretty much kind of is the top somewhere in here, and then it shot up again. So right now, I wouldn't say Bitcoin's out of the woods. It needs to close this week above, I would say, right now, where's it at? 96. It's actually at 95,000 right now, right down here. So probably needs to somehow stay above 96. If it doesn't, it's going to come right back down and potentially hit this line here. If everything goes crazy in the markets somehow, it could still come to 73. But right now, we're about 50-50. It's got to get above and stay above by the end of the week. If it comes up into here anywhere in the 97 and 8, it's going to go all the way up. It's not going to come back down underneath here, I don't believe. I mean, there's always a possibility because there's a little bit of room in here that hasn't been filled out yet. So, but I think if it does come up somewhere in the 100,000, gets above that again, it's not coming down into the 90s for a long, if it does ever again. But so that's what I'm looking at there. And then XRP is always a different crazy map, and that's what I think this is doing. I think it hit this line, which coincided with all of these all the way back, basically touching as many lines as I could all the way in the past. And it came down and touched, and now it's going to probably shoot up to $3 the next time real quick, and then it's probably going to consolidate back in a little bit into 250 before finally running whenever Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin doesn't get out of the trap it's in right now, you're going to see this falter for a little bit longer. But if Bitcoin can get above and get to 100, this thing's still going to come up, probably hit $3, stall out just a little bit, just because that's how it works when you see these momentum dots, basically. But you can see everything's at the bottom right here. You can see that this red line's starting to turn up for XRP and Bitcoin. Same thing at the bottom. You can see how it's turning up right here finally after the long drop. And then you can see like the other ones like gold and silver are just skyrocketing down here. But the interesting, you have to look at the triple Q. And I've been waiting for this thing to top out, and it did, I believe, here. You can see how it's turning down here. I don't know why all these numbers are on here, but our market's turned already. And I don't know how far down it's going to go right now, but this right here might hold it up, 554. Eventually, everything is going to catch up to the silver market because the banks right now have $4.4 billion in gold, but they have shorts out there, meaning they are selling short. They don't own silver. They have $4.4 billion, and they don't have, they have 550% more short positions out there than what they have. So they're all getting smashed today, and that's crazy because today the market, this thing shot up huge, and the people that kind of control everything, the CME, put out this morning yesterday a brand new margin requirement, and they thought it would stop the price from shooting up, and instead it jumped like this anyway. So they have no control. They've lost all control, and the banks are starting to scatter and try and figure out what the hell they're going to do. And we don't know about all the back end stuff yet until all the money is shown. Literally, they wait till about 60 days, and then we're going to find out the truth of what's happening and how bad it is. So there might be some bank runs before then, but we're not going to really know yet until it happens in our face, and then we'll see the numbers later. Anyway, that's all I got. This is Nvidia. I think that still hit its high too. You can see it tapered. It's basically been weaker constantly. And my vision for that is it's going to fall down to here, probably try and make another rebound, and then it's coming down, depending on how the markets go and this whole silver squeeze happening. I don't, I think this thing's going to falter, which is going to take down the triple Qs further, and then everybody's going to start to freak out when they realize that they printed all this money to get the prices up here. This never should have gotten here. None of this should be here. This is all printed money out of nowhere that just basically propped everybody up. All the banks and all the rich fuckers got tons of money, and everybody just piled it in. So now all the pensions and everybody else, they're all riding on this, thinking that their 401ks are safe, but I can tell you right now, they're not. So it's coming. I've been talking about it forever. Stablecoin laws are in place. They're getting the Clarity Act together right now. Everything's going to be in the future. The banks are going digital, and dollars aren't going to be in your hands probably by 2028, I would say. You're going to not have cash anymore. And I will put that, and I believe that for sure is coming. And the banks are all pointing toward it. It just takes them time to catch up and get everything together. So, this is insane how much money they printed just to get to this point where everyone thinks that they're so smart on the markets right now. But it's crazy because the way that they printed got us up to here. And this is logarithmic, so it doesn't even show how ridiculous it is. Like when you actually look at this chart, when all the banks failed, it should have fucking gone sideways. And instead, it just shot straight up. And then just kept printing again, did it again. And here we are. All the money's flowing. This was the Trump bounce right here. But it's just all money that isn't real. So buy gold and silver, hold on to it. Don't sell it yet, even if it's going to crash for 2 weeks or whatever, go down a little bit. It's still not a crash because it went from fucking 50 to 90 in a month. But anyway, that's what I got. I think that's all for tonight. Have a good one.